Previously.
Big day today, shooting a project I wanted to shoot for a very long time. A passion project, merging tricking with a luxury sports brand style photo shoot. I tried really hard in the past, pitching this project to other brands, and it always just fizzles out with, this isn't for us. So I decided to take matters into my own hands and make this vision myself. And we are back. In this video, I'll be breaking down the pitch photo shoot from conception, pre-production, how I found some of my locations, the gear I used, and so forth. So let's get to it. Conceptually, I was mostly inspired by old school Oakley's ads. I liked the sort of futuristic, dystopic, industrious aesthetic they were doing. And secondly, I'm a big fan of tricking. I actually used to be a tricker when I was a teenager and always have felt that deserved a moment in sports fashion where it wasn't just an accessory to a campaign, but was actually about tricking. The toughest part of this shoot was getting clothing. My biggest obstacle is that I wasn't just shooting a model standing still. I was shooting someone doing very aggressive movements. Hiring a stylist would be very difficult to work with because I couldn't guarantee the clothing wouldn't get damaged. My last resort was really just doing it myself. I took to some army surplus stores. I grabbed these pair of work glasses. I grabbed these like pilot cargo pants that had these strings attached to them that I thought would be cool when he's flying through the air and doing flips. I had a friend connect me with the guys at the Nomad store and they were really chill about me pulling a couple things. I stole my girlfriend's Arc'teryx beanie. To me, it wasn't about creating the most elevated look. It was about the concept. Then we have scouting. So I knew I wanted industrious, and I was lucky enough to have a friend who had the perfect space, a print warehouse straight from the 90s. Had these massive ink tanks, looked like hard drives, fluorescent lighting. The place was perfect. And in terms of the second location, I knew I wanted a studio because I wanted to isolate Bios's movements on white. I thought that the Monkey Vault was perfect as it was just down the street. I could set up a white seamless there and use their spring floor to alleviate some of the impact for me asking him to do the same tricks over and over again. I don't think they actually knew what we were doing there, but shouts out to them for letting us shoot there for like 3 hours. And then thirdly, there was the TTC, which I felt was a bonus. I find that sometimes putting yourself in a position where the unexpected is very probable, you end up with really cool photos you wouldn't have necessarily thought of. And from that, I knew I would have a plethora of photos I could capture. When it came to casting the right tricker, Bios was always a tricker that I admired, and I had spoken with him years before this about putting this project together, so he was the chosen one. Got my buddy Adam, who never shot video in his life, to record 90% of it. And then a friend of mine, OC, who I'd worked with in the past, I asked if he would help me out, and he was more than willing, and that was my team. There's a lot of benefits to doing running guns, and part of that is you can move quicker. And when you have a running gun team that is passionate, it's a lot better than having a massive team that's just really there for a paycheck. Bouncing light off of this flag. We're gonna do a little 3-point lighting. This lens is a old fisheye. We first started shooting on basically a runway. I really liked the fluorescent lighting that was already in the space. I felt like I already had a cool aesthetic. I just wanted to make sure that Bios was lit up. So teamed up with the Canon R5, the Godox 80-200, and a white flag, I was able to get these images. I faced the strobe towards the flag and the flag facing Bios. That way I had a large bandwidth light to hit him with, and it wasn't pointing the Godox directly at him. We then went to a garage room. It had very low lighting, but at that point I felt like I had got enough digital photos to start experimenting with some film. I never used this lens. It's a old fisheye. I was excited to whip out the Takumar 35mm fisheye lens with my Pentax 6x7. I used Sinstill 400D, which gave me just enough lighting to shoot 1/30, which I used to create abstract moments to juxtapose with the sharp ones. I did the same thing with the Ricoh GR2. For the Monkey Vault, I had 2 lights set up, my 80-200 in a larger hexagon serving as a back and rim light, and my 80-400 being held by OC directed at Bios. I used my Fujifilm GA645 to capture some filmic, ecom-esque shots modeling the full look, and then the R5 to capture his flips. For the subway portion, I really just wanted to have fun and see what would happen. I was inspired by an old tricking video and thought it'd be cool to bring this public element into the photo shoot. I shot all this with the Canon R5. I had Adam and OC take turns holding the strobe as I wanted crisp photos and I needed the extra light. We're maxed out.
We're maxed out, man.
A common theme with pitching this project is that companies felt it didn't align with the sports they're currently working with. The reason I created the pitch was to show it can. I can't think of a better way to show off high quality garments than showing its resistance to defying gravity. I am not done yet.